Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Anthony Gamer, and I am Red the Fox. And today we're going to be discussing games that were based on or inspired by game shows. Now, game shows have been part of the American culture since TV was actually invented. I'll be honest with you. What's that? I truly believe that the golden age of game shows had to be the late 70s into the early 80s. Oh, there's no argument here. I remember as a young boy, I would sit with my mom and watch some of those game shows that were on during the day. And there were a bunch of them. There was Joker's Wild, there was Family Feud. What were some of the other ones? Do you remember? Oh yeah, what was that one there where the $10,000 pyramid? Wasn't that it? Yeah, that was it too. So there were a whole bunch of them that came out during that time period. Of course, into the 80s. Then you had even more, such as Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, among many others. One thing I do remember about the game shows from when I was a boy is that a lot of times if you didn't win the money, get all the questions right, and you lost, you always got to bring home a board game version of the show that you were just on. Like, they didn't want to rub it in that you had made a fool of yourself in national television, and so they gave you a board game of that so you could remind yourself over and over again. Yeah, that's kind of like rubbing salt in the wounds. Right. But with the creation of video games, you could safely play those games at home. I mean, you weren't going to win any actual money, although I do think I've heard that they have mobile games where you can compete for real money. But regardless of the fact, you can play those games with your friends and family and don't have to worry about embarrassing yourself in front of them, because they probably aren't going to be much better than you. So regardless, let's get into the games. You ready? Oh yeah, I'm ready when you are. Okay, so let's look at games that were based on or inspired by game shows.
And our first game for today there is Family Feud. This is the MS-DOS version of the game, and it pretty much follows just like the game show, where you have questions you have to answer based on surveys that they took from some people about different things, and you have different members of your family up there, which of course you're the one answering for them. One interesting thing I've noticed that this has in common with the actual early version of the game show. What was that? That if you put the answer "make love" down, it usually is correct no matter what the question is. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that myself. One thing I do like about this game is that they have who I consider to be the greatest host of all the different hosts of Family Feud, and that has to be Richard Dawson. I really like that guy. I think you just liked him because he got to kiss all those women. Yeah, I was a little jealous. It was kind of fun to live vicariously through him, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. And next up we have Double Dare. This again is the MS-DOS version. On this game show, two teams of kids would compete against each other, answering questions, doing physical challenges, and because of the fact that this game show came from Nickelodeon, it was really, really messy. Yeah, and remember later on they had the Family Double Dare, where the whole family could get there and get messy and all that fun stuff? Oh yeah. And they recently brought it back again, didn't they? Oh yeah. Mark Summers, the original host, is kind of a consultant, but it's pretty much the same game as it was back when we were kids. Oh yeah. Okay, and next up there we got Classic Concentration. This again is MS-DOS, as quite a few of these are going to be. Not all of them, but you can pretty much tell because of the CGA graphics there. This show was one where you had to match some cards that were covering up a big picture. Now, it was kind of like that game Memory that you played when you were little, or that you play nowadays, just for memory exercise, I guess. And then you would have like a phrase of some kind underneath it, and you had to figure out what that phrase was, as some of it had pictures of different things, and you kind of just had to figure out what it was trying to tell you. Kind of a cool game, and I'm really, really surprised that this game show wasn't brought back recently with some of the other ones. Like Joker's Wild. I'd like to see that come back too. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I like both of them myself too. Okay, and next up we have Jeopardy. This is gotta be one of my all-time favorite game shows and games, period. And as many of you know, we just recently lost the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek, and this video is dedicated to his memory. In this quiz show game, you take on the role as yourself, and you're answering a series of questions from a variety of categories. It could be history, science, pop culture, geography, you name it. This is not a game show for people that aren't very bright, though, because some of the questions get really hard, and if you watch the show long enough, most of the people on the show are college graduates or honor students and people like that. Anyway, one thing you got to remember about this game here is when you answer the question, you have to answer in the form of a question, like who is Alexander Hamilton, or where is the Indian Ocean, stuff like that, which I always forget to do that, and if I was ever on the game show, I would probably have to be reminded 10 times. Yeah, just like everybody else. Oh yeah. Alright, and next up we have the only game in here that was not truly a game show, but was kind of inspired by, or could have been a game show. I think later on they actually did make it into a game show, but by that time nobody really cared. Oh yeah, that's true. Anyway, this is You Don't Know Jack. This is kind of like a more adult-themed game show. As you know, it's a little rougher, not really a kid's game by any stretch, but it's a lot of fun, and you can really do terrible things to your opponents on this. They had several editions of this that came out over the years. Some would be sports themed, movie themed. This is just the basic game itself. It's basically trivia and pop culture. One thing I wanted to also add, I know we got some young folks that are watching this. A lot of these games that you're seeing here took place in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, before some of you were probably around. So if you like to try these games out, for you younger folks, it might be a better idea to get later editions, because a lot of the pulp culture that is referenced in these old games you might not get. So just a little bit of advice.
Hang on tight, because here we go. Who shot JR? Pamela Barnes-Ewing, Kristen Shepard, Miss...
Alright, and next up we have Wheel of Fortune. This is the NES version of the game. Now in this game show, you spin a wheel and you get different dollar amounts. You pick letters and try to solve different puzzles that are given to you. Of course, probably one thing people remember most about this are the host and hostess, that being Pat Sajak and Vanna White. You can get some pretty hard puzzles sometimes. Other times they're relatively easy. Mostly it's just kind of luck of the draw as far as getting the letters. I'll tell you, there's a couple times I played this where I think I went through just about every letter, and then by the time I solved it, I was like, wow, phew. Oh yeah, it can be tough sometimes, but overall it's a really, really fun game show, both to watch and to play.
Let's play The Weakest Link.
And our final game for today is from the PlayStation 1, and this game is The Weakest Link. Interestingly, they just revamped this show as well with a new host, Jane Lynch, and it's just as good as the old one. Oh, I have to agree with you on that one. I can't wait till they start having celebrities on there and stuff to show how dumb they are. Exactly. This game show mostly asks trivia and pop culture type questions. Really, it's not like Jeopardy. In this one, you answer questions, you try to bank money, and at the end of every round, whoever was, I guess you could say, the dumbest or answered the least number of questions gets voted off. At the very end, you have the two remaining players, and they play for potentially $1 million, although I haven't really seen anybody get anywhere near that. It's a really fun show. Really enjoy it, and I was really glad that I found this video game version of the game show, because I wasn't really sure if they'd made one. Hopefully now, with Jane Lynch taking over as the hostess of the show, they will release a new version of it for PS4 or PS5 or something with Jane Lynch, so we can only hope.
I feel I know what this one may be.
Correct. Tim In geography, which one of these?
Of course, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There were several other game shows that got video game adaptions that we weren't able to cover in today's episode. So let us know in the comments section below, or hit me up on some of my social media platforms and let me know which game shows would you like me to cover in another episode.
In our next episode, we will discuss games based on that amazing and legendary comic trio, the Three Stooges.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. Well, I hope everyone's going to have a great new year. Let's just hope and pray 2021 is better than 2020. Oh yeah, let's just
Serdam Zewa, Senkrad. Serdam Zewa, Senkrad. Serdam Zewa, Senkrad. Serdam Zewa, Senkrad.
You know, try to forget this year ever happened. Totally agreed. Well, until next time, I am Anthony Gamer, and I am Red the Fox, and we wish you all a great week. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe, and above all, be kind to each other, be nice to each other, and we will see you guys soon. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.